Good day, everybody. I hope that you are well, and I also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today, we'll be doing our grade 1 English lesson on sentence types. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once we've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of language arts, which is English. Grade 1, and then we're going to scroll down up until we get to the chapter of sentence types. All right, so our chapter is sentence types. Our subject is English, which is language arts. Grade 1, and the lessons that we are going to be focusing on today under the chapter of sentence types. It's to identify statements, identify questions, identify exclamations, and we're going to identify commands. All right, so there's four kinds of sentences, right? So we have four kinds of sentences. We have a statement, then we have a question, then we have an exclamation, and then we also have commands, right? So it may sound like it is big words, right? But it basically just depends on the type of sentence um, that we have, right? So, for example, you have a statement, right? So, we have a statement. And when we have a statement, right, that's one of the type of sentences. And a statement, it's one of the type of sentence, says it tells us about something, right? So it could basically be anything that you're telling someone. You can tell somebody about your day, can tell somebody what you're doing now. You can tell somebody how many siblings you have. You can tell somebody, maybe if you're the only child, you can maybe tell somebody the name of your parents, right? That is just a statement that you're making, and we call that a statement, right? That is a type of sentence. And a statement, it ends with a period, meaning that you write your sentence and then it ends with a period, right? So, period or dot at the end of the sentence, right? And an example that we can also make is a lamb is a baby sheep, right? So even if somebody had asked, what is a baby sheep? right? Or the name that they call a baby sheep, or even if they didn't ask, right? Then you can just say that a lamb is a baby sheep. It is just a statement that you are making. It is just something that you are saying, and it ends with a period, right? And yet is the next one says Sam took a cookie. So if you're maybe telling your parent that one of your siblings took a cookie, that is a statement, right? Your parent doesn't have to respond, your parent doesn't have to do something, right? But it's just you telling your parent that one of your siblings took a cookie, or one of your siblings left their clothes on the floor, or one of your siblings didn't do homework, right? So it's like basically just telling someone something or telling someone about something, and it ends with a period. Like let's say today is Tuesday, right? So even if you tell somebody today is Tuesday, right? That is just a random statement that you are making, and it ends with a period. Right? So it's just anything that you are saying, anything random, anything that is just straight to the point. That is a statement, and it ends with a period. Right? Or if you are telling somebody that I have a tutor lesson or tutor, right? That is just a statement, period. Or you tell somebody I attend A plus classes, right? Full stop, period. Or if you can say, I like the A plus classes. That is also just a statement that you're making. That person that you're telling, they don't have to respond at all, right? It is basically just you making a statement, and that statement that means that you're telling someone about something, and that ends with a period, right? And then we have, okay, I'm going to remove that. And then we have a question. Then we have a question. This is also one of the type of sentences. It's a question. And a question, sorry, a question, it asks something. So then we have another type of sentence is a question, right? And a question, it asks something, right? And when we have a question and then it ends with a question mark, and a question mark looks like this. That's a question mark. So whichever sentence that you're going to make, if it's a question type of sentence, right, then it will end with a question mark, that sign over there. And if we look at a few examples, right, of a question, then we can say, here's one example. It says, how do airplanes stay up? So how do airplanes stay up? So now it's like if you're asking me, how do airplanes stay up? That is a question that is being asked. Then it means that I have to respond because you're asking me a question. And with a question, you expect a response, right? You expect an answer. And then we have another one, another example that says, are we there yet? So if you're going on a road trip with your parents, right? And you're asking the question, are we there yet? Right? Then your parents will either say, not yet, we are almost there, 1 more hour, 15 more minutes, right? That is the response that you will get, maybe. Or if I maybe ask, how old are you? This is a question. So, how old are you, right? That's a question. So, if you ask a question, if I ask a question, then it means that you're going to have to respond by saying, I am years old. But a question that is being asked is, how old are you? And it ends with a question mark. What were you doing today? This is also a question, and it ends with a question mark, which means that you're going to have to answer that. What were you doing today? Now you're going to respond and say that I was playing with my friend, or I played with Jack today. Or we can even ask, how was your day? Right? Yes, like, is it Betsy that says, how was your day? Right? So if you ask, how was your day? That is a question that is being asked. So now I can either say that my day went well. I had a very nice day, right? But it ends with a question mark. This is one of the type of sentence that ends with a question mark because you're asking a question. So it means that this is a type of sentence where you ask a question. Right? Or even if you ask, let's another question. What is your favorite color? Or where are you going? If you're going, let's say maybe you're approaching the door and you maybe want to go somewhere, and now your parents are asking, where are you going? Right? That ends with a question mark, right? It ends with a question mark because remember, you're asking a question. So remember, we said that there are four types of sentences, right? Or four kinds of sentences. We have a statement, which tells us about something. It can be anything random where you're telling someone about something, and it ends with a period, right? Which is basically just a dot, period. And then the next type of sentence or kind of sentence is a question. And a question, it asks something, right? It can ask anything. Anything that you ask, somebody's going to answer or somebody's going to respond. And it ends with a question mark. And there we have the sign of a question mark, right? So there we have so far the two kinds of sentences. We're still going to go over two more kinds of sentences, but we have four kinds of sentences, one being a statement, the second one being a question. Now we're going on to the next type of sentence. All right, the other kind of sentence is an exclamation, right? So here we have an exclamation, and an exclamation, it is like a statement. So an exclamation is like a statement, but it shows surprise or it shows strong feelings. Remember, we said a statement is where you're just telling someone about something, right? And it ends with a period. But in this case, an exclamation is like a statement. It is not necessarily a statement, it is like a statement, but it shows surprise, it shows strong feeling, right? And an exclamation, it ends with an exclamation point. And an exclamation point looks like this. It's like an upside down line with a point or dot or period underneath. So this is an exclamation. And if we look at a few examples, right, of an exclamation, it is, there's a turtle on the road. But now it's not, you can't say it the way I said it, right? When you use an exclamation or you want to give a statement that is an exclamation, then remember we said it shows either surprise or strong feelings. So imagine you are driving, right, with your parents in the car and you see a turtle on the road, right? Your dad is not watching, whoever that's driving, or your mom is driving and she's not watching, but you see this turtle, right? And it looks as if your parent is going to knock or ride over this turtle. What are you going to say? Are you just going to say, there's a turtle on the road? Or are you going to say, there's a turtle on the road? Right? So, which means that with an exclamation, you need to show strong feelings. It's almost like you are stressing a point, you are raising your tone, right? Because now you are shocked, you're surprised, you are kind of scared or afraid that your parent is either gonna knock or drive over the turtle. So you must be like, there's a turtle on the road, or you're gonna be like, stop, right? So that is an exclamation, and that ends with an exclamation point, because an exclamation is like a sentence, but it shows surprise or it shows strong feelings. Then we have another example that says, today is Rose's birthday, right? So that is also just a statement that we're making. But if it's someone's birthday, right, then it means that you are excited. So it's like you're all excited because Rose is also having a birthday party and you're telling everybody, today's Rose's birthday. Like, because you are excited, you are happy, right? Because you are going to the party and you can already imagine how it's going to be. There's going to be jumping castles, there's going to be cake, there's going to be decorations, there's going to be party packs, and literally, and all of your friends are going to be there, right? So you are excited. So an exclamation also shows strong feelings. It shows excitement. It shows when you are happy or when you're extremely sad or when you're frustrated or when you're angry, right? So that is an exclamation. And then lastly, our fourth type of sentence is a command, right? So it's a command. And a command, it tells someone to do something, right? So a command, it tells someone to do something. So no, it's not forcing you to do something, because command can either sound as a bad word or it can sound as in just telling you to do something. And most of the time, right, a command, it ends with either a period, right, which is a dot. But if it shows strong feeling, and then it ends with an exclamation point. So we say that a command, it tells you to do something or tells someone to do something. So even if your parent tells you to go and watch TV, right? Go and watch television, go and watch TV. And then that is basically a command. It doesn't have to be like, you better go and watch TV. No, that doesn't have to be a command, right? A command is basically just where someone tells you to do something. If your parent maybe asks you to take out the trash, put the plate in the sink or put the plate in the dishwasher, right? Brush your teeth, maybe close the door, switch on the AC, right? Those are, it's basically someone telling you to do something. And that ends with a period, because that is a statement that is being made. It's a command, but it's more like it just ends with a period. But now, if someone is literally like commanding you to do something, right? Because now they are showing strong feeling. Let's say, for example, you and your sibling is maybe having a fight, right? So now your parent is telling you, both of you need to stop fighting, right? Or be nice to your sister. It's like they're now really commanding you, because if you're not going to be nice, then both of you are going to get a beating, you know? And that ends with an exclamation, right? So if your parent is commanding you because now they are angry, if you were supposed to do dishes and you did not do dishes, and now your parent comes home and they're like, you better do dishes or go and do dishes, right? That can also show strong feelings, and it ends with an exclamation point, right? So we have four types of sentences, right? And we said we have four kinds of sentences. And we said we have a statement which tells you about something. It tells about something and it ends with a period. Then we have a question, and a question it asks something. And a question it ends with a question mark. And then we have an exclamation, right? And an exclamation is like a statement, but it shows surprise or it shows strong feeling, right? And it ends with an exclamation point. And then we have a command, right? And a command, it tells someone to do something, right? So command can either end with a period, or if it shows strong feeling, then it can end with an exclamation point. All right, so these are four types of sentences. So now we're going to aplusstudents.ca, right? And that is where we're going to continue with our tutorial lesson as well as our test. So let's go to aplusstudents.ca. And we're going into the first one that says identify statement, right? And remember we said a statement, it tells about something, anything random that you just want to tell somebody. Today is Tuesday, right? I am listening to Miss Nadine. That is a statement. I like my family. That is a statement, right? Tomorrow I'm going to school. That is a statement, right? And a statement, it ends with a period, right? It ends with a period. All right, so let's go and begin our test. So we're going to look at these sentences over here, right? And we need to say which one is a statement. We need to say which one is a statement. Is it option 1, option 2, 3, or 4? Option 1 says, Janet is a great swimmer. Option 2 is, how did you get here? Option 3 says, get in the pool. And option 4 says, the water is cold. So which one of these four sentences is a statement? Is it option 1, option 2, 3, or 4? All right, so if we were to choose a statement, right? Remember, we said a statement is basically just where you tell somebody or you compliment somebody or you say something, right? About some, it can be, if you just say something about anything, right? So if we were to choose a statement, then we would choose the first option, which is Janet is a great swimmer. So you're just saying that Janet is a great swimmer, period. And there it ends with a period, right? So it's option one. That is a statement. We now need to say which one is a statement within these four sentences. Is it option one? Get there on time. Is it option two? The turtle went back into the water. Is it option three, which is don't cross the road? Or is it option four, which says, is there any cake left? We need to say which one is a statement. And remember, we said a statement ends with a period. So which one do you think is a statement? If it ends with a period, right? Option two and option three ends with a period. So option two and option three ends with a period. So is it option two, the turtle went back into the water? Or is it don't cross the road? Which one do you think is correct? Remember, we said a statement ends with a period. A period is a dot. Or another word for a period is, like in my country, we say it's a full stop. So it's either option two or option three. It's either the second one or the third one that is correct. Which one is correct? I'm going to read option three for you. It says, don't cross the road. If somebody tells you, don't cross the road, then it means that they're commanding you to not cross the road, right? Which means that we are going to choose the second option. Because remember, we said a statement is where you're basically just telling someone about anything. So here they are randomly just saying the turtle went back into the water. If I tell you the turtle went back into the water, you don't have to say anything. It's going to be so awkward. Do you say, no? Do you say, what? Do you say, okay? Right? So it's going to be, so basically it is just where you say, the turtle went back into the water. Right? Because if we say don't cross the road, it's like somebody commanding you not to cross the road. So we will go with the second option, right? All right. Now let's try again. Remember, we said a statement ends with a period, right? A full stop, a period. Here we have don't trip on on the rug. So the option one says don't trip on the rug. If somebody tells you don't trip on the rug, right? The next one says some people can't eat peanuts. The third one is can you get the phone? And the fourth one is John, sit down. So you need to tell me which one is a statement where you're just telling a random thing. Nobody needs to respond to that. It's like you're just saying something. Remember, if I say don't trip on the rug, then I'm commanding you to not trip on the rug. So which means that if you are going to trip on the rug, I'm going to be angry. And remember that ends with an exclamation point. We said that a statement ends with a period. All right, then if we choose the correct one, we will choose option 2, right? So well done. Option 2 is correct. It's a statement. You're just randomly saying something. It's randomly just saying some people can't eat peanuts. So if somebody were to tell me some people can't eat peanuts, I'll look at them and be like, okay. Or it's like you think to yourself like, so what must I do? You know? So it's some people can't eat peanuts. So that is our statement. So well done. Now we're going on to the next lesson, which is identify questions, right? And we said a question, it asks something, right? And it ends with a question mark. Remember, we said a question mark. This is now before we go to our test. Remember, a question, it asks something, right? And it ends with a question mark. This is a question mark, right? So if your sentence ends with this sign, this punctuation mark, right? And then it is a question that is being asked. And here we have an example. How do airplanes stay up? Question mark. Are we there yet? Question mark. How old are you? Question mark. Where do you live? Question mark, right? Those are questions and it asks something, which means that if I ask you something, then it means that you need to respond, right? It's like I asked you now a question, right? And then I asked you, is it option 1, 2, 3, or 4? And you answered, right? So you answered. So now we're going to this one that says a question. We're going to a question sentence which asks something, and it ends with a question mark. So now let's go to our test. All right, so we're now going to say which one is a question, right? Keeping in mind a question ends with a question mark. So which one is a question? It says, the first one says, Robin drinks milk with her lunch. When did Tess go to Boston? The second one. Number 3 says, don't pet that dog. And the fourth one is, yum, this sandwich is so tasty. So we now need to say which one is a question. Which one of these sentences asks a question? Is it option 1, 2, 3, or 4? And it ends with a question mark. So we need to say which one is a question. Which one is a question, which one asks a question, and it ends with a question mark. All right, then if we're going to choose the correct one, then we're going to say option 2. is a question because they're asking, when did Tess go to Boston? So now it means that somebody's going to have to respond and say, Tess went on Monday to Boston, or Tess went last month to Boston, or Tess went yesterday to Boston, right? And it ends with a question mark. So number 2 is correct. All right, we now need to say which one is a question. It says the first one says, what are you working on? Yes, so well done, Xavier. That is correct. When did Tess go to Boston? Now we're going to the next one. It says, what are you working on? That's the first one. Well, the second one says, Miss Kent takes the train to work. The third one says, wow, what a big dog. Or option 4 says, take your shoes off. We now need to choose one of these sentences that is a question. And remember, we said a question ends with a question mark. So a question, which one of these sentences is a question? So the first one, what are you working on? The second one, Miss Kent takes the train to work. Wow, what a big dog. Or the last one that says, take your shoes off. All right, and if we're going to choose the one that is a question, we will choose option 1, which says, what are you working on? And it ends with a question mark, right? Yes, so what are you working on is correct. Well done. Yes, well done, Xavier. Now we're going to identify an exclamation, right? We're going to identify an exclamation. And we said an exclamation, right? It is like a statement. It's not a statement, it's like a statement. But it shows surprise and it shows strong feeling, right? An exclamation, it ends with an exclamation point. So an exclamation ends with this sign, which is an exclamation point, or we can say an exclamation mark, right? So that is an exclamation. And here we have an example that is, today is Rose's birthday. So which means that they are excited, right? Or if somebody is running in the road and you're like, stop. Or if the dog is chasing you and you run, the dog is chasing me. Or the dog bit me. Right? That shows strong feelings and it ends on an exclamation point. Right? All right, now let's go to our test. We now have to say which one is an exclamation. So we're going to say which one is an exclamation, right? Is it the first one that says, I don't want to go? Or the second option that says, plant the flowers here? The third option, which is, what kind of flowers do you like? Or the fourth one that says, Jean likes roses. We need to choose the sentence that is an exclamation. Remember, we said an exclamation ends with an exclamation point. So is it option 1, option 2, 3, or 4? All right. And if we choose the correct one, then guess the first one. I don't want to go, right? So that is an exclamation and ends with an exclamation point. So well done. The first one is correct. Remember, it ends with an exclamation point, right? Now let's look at the second one. The second one is, which one is an exclamation? Is it option one, my name is Alex? Option two, yay, it's starting to snow outside. Option three, that says, don't touch the cat. Or option four, what is your favorite season? We need to choose the correct one, the correct answer, the correct sentence that is an exclamation. My name is Alex. Yay! It's starting to snow outside. Don't touch the cat. Or what is your favorite season? So we need to say which one is an exclamation. All right, don't forget to put your exclamation point also. All right, and if we choose the correct one, then yes, option two, which says, yay, it's starting to snow outside. That is an exclamation point. Remember, we said an exclamation point, an exclamation sentence, it ends with an exclamation point, right? And that one is correct. All right, so now we are quickly going to A plus classes.ca, going to learning materials, right? We're going to reading, and then we're going to scroll right down up until we get the 4 purple boxes. We're going to choose the audio files, right? And then we are going to read the first one. So you're going to listen to the first reading. And the name of this book is Hey Moon, You're Blocking My Sun.
Hey Moon, You're Blocking My Sun by Holly Hartman.
All right, so let's listen up.
In the middle of a hot summer day, with the sun shining brightly, a strange kind of darkness begins to cover the earth. It's a solar eclipse. The moon is passing between Earth and the sun, casting its shadow on us from 239,000 miles away. How does the moon, which is so much smaller, block out all light from the giant sun? If you look at them from Earth, the moon and the sun seem to be the same size in the sky. Actually, the moon is 400 times smaller than the sun, but it is also 400 times closer to Earth. The moon is close enough that once in a while, when it is lined up exactly between the sun and Earth, the moon gets completely in the way. Hey moon, you're blocking my sun. See how an eclipse works. Turn on a bright light and point it toward a ball. Now hold a much smaller ball in the path of the light and move it back and forth. How does the small ball's shadow move on the larger ball? The moon is always moving on its orbit around Earth. As it moves, its shadow sometimes makes a path across Earth. That is a solar eclipse. Can you find the moon shadow in this photograph of Earth? In a total solar eclipse, there is a wide path where only part of the sun is blocked, and a smaller path down the middle where the sun is out of view completely for just a few minutes. Those few minutes of darkness are enough to wake up nocturnal animals, make other stars visible, and calm the wind. People stop for the eclipse as well, out of curiosity and amazement. Scientists use math and physics to predict where and when an eclipse will occur. If you live near the path of the moon's shadow, you can be ready to witness a natural wonder.
All right. So that is the storybook, which is Hey Moon, You're Blocking My Sun. And if you looked even at the wording and the, let's say, the punctuations of the let's say the story, they used exclamation points or exclamation, yeah, points. They used questions as well as statements and commands within the story. All right, so that is now the end of our lesson, right? We learned about the four different types of sentences. So there are four different types of sentences. We have a statement, a question, an exclamation, and a command type of sentence. A statement just tells us about something and it ends with a period. A question, it asks a question and it ends with a question mark. An exclamation, it basically is like a statement but it shows strong feelings, right? And that ends with an exclamation point. And then we have a command, right, which basically tells you to do something, and that either ends with a period or an exclamation point. So thank you very much, grade one, for joining the class, and I really hope you have a better understanding of what the sentence types are. Till next time, have a good evening further. Goodbye.